This is the UT98, a keyboard made by MCHOSE and Unbox Therapy, and I thought I knew exactly what I was getting myself into. But what I expected was something loud, something metal, something like the viral board that started it all. Instead, it's plastic, it's silent, and I'll be honest, I didn't see this coming. So the question is, what kind of keyboard do you get when MCHOSE teams up with one of the biggest tech channels on YouTube? Let's find out. Before we find out though, I just want to let you know that MCHOSE sent this keyboard out for review. Not going to affect my opinions. Let's go. Getting straight into the unboxing, and it's standard box packaging with the make and model front and center. Inside you'll be greeted by a user manual and card, and the keyboard itself is protected by a dust cover and plastic sleeve. For accessories, USB-A to C cable, spare macOS keycaps, a dual keycap and switch puller, and a couple of spare switches. MCHOSE and Unbox Therapy also teamed up on a mouse pad, as well as this cushioned wrist rest. The keyboard is going to set you back $139, which on first impression seems like a high asking price. Let's see if it's justified. Okay, so the first thing that surprised me was the case material, and yeah, it's full plastic. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just not what I was expecting from this co-created keyboard. Context aside, it's a decently solid plastic construction, and there's a good bit of weight to the board, so that's all fine. It's got height adjustable feet offering a total of 3 levels of adjustment, and some rubber case pads and a nice subtle MCHOSE logo make up the rest of the underside. So the UT98 is a compact full-size board, which means you've got your function row, the numpad, without quite the amount of nav keys of a full true size board, and if I'm going to have a numpad, this is a must for me, keeping it feeling still relatively tidy on my desk. It's got tri-mode connectivity, meaning you can connect via the wired USB-C port on the back, or toggle this switch to either Bluetooth wireless or 2.4 GHz, courtesy of the receiver in this onboard storage compartment. Okay, so the board has full RGB backlighting with the usual preset modes, and I'd say it's a pretty nice glow. There's also this RGB bar here for visual interest, but I want to focus on the scroll wheel. MCHOSE went for this rolling volume wheel kind of a design, and in theory, this is cool. If it worked. So you know in some of the Logitech mouses where you can basically choose between a smooth scroll or a tactile scroll? Well, that's kind of what's going on here. The wheel scrolls smoothly by default, but that doesn't actually change the volume. For the volume to change, I needed to press down and scroll at the same time for the volume control to work properly. Now, this might be user error on my end, or it could be a fault in the product that I received. Otherwise, I don't really see the point of doing this way. It's just kind of annoying. Okay, moving on to stock conclusions, let's start with the keycaps. They're Daiso PBT in the cherry profile. I found the legend printing to be a little lower resolution than I'd like, but Daiso printing leaves this door open. I also really dislike this spacebar, so thankfully MCHOSE included a plain replacement one. Okay, this is where things stumped me even further. These are the silent Peach V3 switches. Yeah, once again, silent is not what I was expecting after the success of the GX87 collab. Alas, they're light 40-gram linears, and expectations aside, they feel really nice to type on. As you can imagine, the overall sound profile of the UT98 is silent. Unlike early adopters of silent switches that tended to have a mushiness due to the switch dampening, these switches don't, they feel responsive. I'll be honest, I've never really been a wrist rest kind of a guy, but after a couple of monkey type tests, I was hitting PBs, so I have to say, I enjoyed the typing experience here, paired with the wrist rest. As a software developer by profession, I could definitely use this keyboard day to day in my development. Alright, enjoyed the sound test, and as you can imagine, there's not much to hear, so I won't take long. Alright, let's talk about software compatibility, because we all know this can be a pain point. I'm happy to report that MCHOSE took the time to develop their own web-based tool for customizing the UT98. It's called the MCHOSE M Hub, and it's got a modern clean UI that lets you remap keys, customize lighting, and tweak some general settings. Props where it's due to MCHOSE. They've built us a nice tool here, and they seem to be continuing to work on it for different configurations. Okay, so I'd usually tear a keyboard down at this point in the video, but I don't really think that was MCHOSE's intention with this one. I think it was designed to be an out-of-the-box ready keyboard, likely to reach a wider audience from Unbox Therapy's poll. Okay, so look, overall, by far, the UT98 is not a bad keyboard. It does silent, and it does it well. It's just not what I was expecting. I will say, $139 feels quite steep to me for what you're getting. I'd feel a lot more confident giving a recommendation here if it was somewhere in the range of $90 to $100. For the average keyboard user, this keyboard will feel like a step up if you're coming from those mainstream brands. But if you're an enthusiast, it's nothing special. Look, I get it. This keyboard was a co-creation between a keyboard company and a content creator. That's cool. It's a position I'd only love to find myself in one day, but I don't think I could put my name over this keyboard at this price. By all means, if you want to support Unbox Therapy, go ahead and pick this keyboard up. You won't be disappointed. You just won't be blown away either. If you enjoyed the video, consider dropping a like, and if you're feeling extra generous, maybe hit subscribe. It helps me out. Finally, I want to say another huge thanks to the people over at MCHOSE for making this video possible.